off duty,
We get off duty at
which is
6.
6.
Yeah, we meet at
Then you
6.
come up and
Yep,
put things together and talk over loose ends.
yep.
Okay.
I was wondering who should make a date with. Now I found out.
Too many things this week. Hello.
Your turn.
I got,
Oh, you got, oh, this is, that's the house now.
the half the time they even get mine.
Push the purchasing policy.
You
You certainly can. Just make sure I'm not giving you the first orange you
No,
didn't get.
no.
Okay, no, you want to- Yeah, huh? What is it? Just.
If you put it lost in there.
Just shut up, see what's inside.
It just has to be this one.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah, it's missing the little.
I could. talk
We have a
about
lost
this.
sound.
Oh, over an
The area without that back
Oh,
top.
yes, yeah.
Because I can give him my, all
That-
my comments.
they had,
in writing
children's-
Here's a little kid to go with it.
and spare us.
Yeah,
grief.
Put that in the back up.
Whether to resign, like, why would he put that? That's more DEI than our DOI. What the heck?
Summer reading
Did we
program.
learn nothing when we had serious? Do you mind if I, or do you want to get to that section and I just make a motion to table it to our next meeting when I set it at 3, I didn't get to look at it at 4. I haven't typed up my comments, but I know. I could send them to them and then
I didn't order it
talk
yet.
about it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you get me started.
We
Don't get
don't
me
want
started. Don't get me started, Ron.
And
I mean, just this alone, just, it's gotta go.
No, that was
At least for the next 3.5 years.
But and company.
Freaking
And
hate
then,
it.
Yeah.
Am I living on a different place?
I'm not gonna do
wow,
And the and
It's not
um,
Not when I saw
document purchases if it's federal funds, but what about our taxpayers' funds? They're
next
just
time,
important.
so
Well, why won't you document Anyways, I have a million things to tell you.
yeah, I didn't really have the time to
It's
at
9
least take the
pages.
time.
Of
Yeah, and
that I
there's
can't get back in my
two
life.
documents, they're both 9 pages.
Well, I didn't read the Danville one.
Yeah,
I only cared about what he gleaned from the Danville one.
This is
and his-
Yeah.
this is very similar to the Danville one.
Yeah, I didn't even bother to open the Danville one. It took me,
no,
it took me
I thought that
an
was
hour to do what I did with this one. I wasn't about to open the Danville one.
I thought that was the Danville one, but then he attached the VLCT.
yeah. But,
I think this is the, well, he said, he's got Waterford typed in here and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think he
He
just,
put some effort into it.
Yeah.
It's just not a lot of thought.
yeah, to me, it was,
So also
And you got
that,
the copy.
that clause is in there because the VLCT recommends it be in there.
And it would be great if it was 8 months ago, but we now have,
Oh, I thought.
I'm not going through the
Yeah,
DOI
he's a
situation again. I'm just not.
What does he look like?
I will wait for you guys to fix it 3.5. I think it should be in there. Every contract I ever did with the federal government, 26 years of federal government contracting. That was a consideration.
Yep.
Women owned, small business, minority owned. Of course, Of course, it's a good thing. Just
All right.
not gonna
Oh
fly.
my gosh, that's pushing it.
100 people come through there and I
That's
don't
pushing
remember
it
one.
down. I also got next week.
Hey, Heather,
Yes.
for documentation of purchases,
You didn't drop it?
have a day, a year requirement of saving them.
And then you left.
We just got something this afternoon from Tim, and he recommended saving them for
I don't
3 years. Do you have a practice,
3 years plus the year you're in.
3 years plus the year you're in? That's cool.
Did you find his number or anything?
Yeah, Googled it, I can't remember.
So it could be as many as 4 if you make another purchase in January. 3 years plus
3
year.
years plus the year you're in.
And that is state or federally mandated, or municipal, or like.
So most of it is the grant regulations, so grants will tell you need to keep it longer, like FEMA says you need to keep it, and it's after the date of finish
Redhead?
Of all the projects.
I could just not-
So if your projects last 2 years, then you're 3 years.
And do you have any problem with keeping documentation of purchases that aren't federally funded? Like what about when our taxpayer dollars fund something? Don't you keep documentation of it for a while?
We do, and it's electronic, like it's electronic, so it's there forever until you dump the record. Until you like clean out your.
Like, say when Deb and I were doing the mowing contract and we made a little folder, how long would you keep that folder for?
3 years.
3 years. So it would have the same rule, the 3 years plus.
I mean, that's the rule I typically, there are some things, what's in the office that we can't ever get rid of, that's in the vault?
Oh, gosh, there's some.
Contracts?
No, there's some permanent school stuff,
Oh,
Okay.
and there's some permanent, maybe personnel files, but a lot of it's school stuff.
Okay.
I'm not sure why we need to know that Dave Morrison got lunch on the Tuesday in
it's
September.
very important to keep that historical records.
But do we know what he had to
No,
eat?
no, but I know he ordered lunch. Not sure why I have to keep that, but yeah.
So I usually go by 3 years
3
plus the year.
plus
you're
the
in.
year you're in. I like that, okay.
I couldn't remember what was in the vault. know the
I can
boxes
tell
are
you
there.
where they are, they're right
there, I know.
There,
Yeah.
but
I don't see him.
no,
When you go in the vault, it's right there.
right there.
Yeah.
I
Yep,
don't see him.
I knew that.
I wanna say there's 3 or 4 of them that say permanent right on it.
Permanent, I remember we had to keep them permanently, but I don't remember why.
I think there's a lot of school stuff.
Oh, we have to go over the school.
They're all Dave Morrison's records from his generation.
Portion of our budget.
And I'm not joking when I say
I
that,
didn't-
they're
I
that
didn't-
old.
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
okay, all right. So I'm
No, they're
complaining,
back
just
from
see if
that
we can't take
generation.
Jan to the next
Well.
meeting. And that way I'll have a chance to get
I
this.
did
So it's kind of historic stuff.
It is
At the end of the day, we do have a lengthy.
You only did 3 years, that's
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
I would,
So I
I
looked
would
at our,
not be opposed to.
I looked at our agenda
Your
and
choice?
said, you
No.
don't want to get started on this tonight. You just don't. It was a good, I think it was a good first.
Yep.
I'm not knocking it or the work that he did, it just, it needs a whole lot of work.
All your purchasing policies? Yeah, the sending it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the night
Yeah.
before your meeting too was.
Yeah, that added to my stress.
I didn't read it.
You didn't have time. 'cause
I didn't
said
have time to
enough.
read the Danville one, but I read the one that he wrote, or that he fashioned for us, and it just, it's,
Skip through part of it and then it's like,
it's 9 pages.
I must have been, 'cause I locked the door, yeah, through myself. I don't think it's a tenant.
Is that your dog, your pup?
There's been a revolving.
Yeah.
And she's a sheep?
She,
Yeah.
Gracie.
Oh, man, she's absolutely gorgeous.
Well, she's got to be because that's her only endearing part.
Now, labs are super, super smart, but retrievers not so much?
She's just,
Really?
she's playful, but I've never had one quite as aggressive as her.
Well, yeah.
I mean, not biting somebody coming into the yard.
But protecting?
Headstrong.
Headstrong. Oh,
They've made their mind up and they're gonna.
oh, she
Do you
is.
think she's just protecting you, like?
No, it's not, she is, yeah, headstrong is a good word. Stubborn, I was thinking of, but
Maybe she's an alpha female. It's her way or the highway.
She is definitely improved, but she's still got a ways
But
to go.
she's young too. Right, she's still a puppy, right?
Yeah, she's about 15 minutes old.
Okay. That's still puppy.
Well, yeah, because then I can.
That's still puppy.
Don't have to sign it.
Oh, I probably should. Too young.
Yeah, that's nothing you can change.
But when they put it all together, so I don't tell them what I said.
I still have that one washer clothes.
Yeah.
And she had it up.
Yeah. How long?
And she said, what?
This is one meeting, so we gotta work.
So you can get the same job done. Oh.
6 o'clock.
All lights are.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock, so I'll call the meeting to order. First up is modifications to the agenda.
Respectfully, can I ask for one addition on behalf of the Waterford Bridge Runners? With help on the Slate Ledge Road issue?
With help?
Yeah. And offer to help.
To offer to help on the Slate Ledge Road issue?
Yeah, with construction material donation.
Okay. Yeah, we could entertain that. We're actually gonna take that up at the next meeting.
Okay.
But if you're here and you wanna, I mean, we don't have a citizens concerns part, but if you wanna.
No, it's more informational,
Okay,
kind of help out.
yeah, that might save you from having to come back next time, or you could come back next time, whichever. Okay, any other modifications? If not, approval of meeting minutes for July 14th, 2025.
I make the motion that we approve the meeting minutes as posted as draft.
I will second that.
Any discussion on that?
I actually do have a point to raise here, and it doesn't really have to be an amendment tonight, but linguistically, the minutes reflect that somebody motioned to have an action undertaken. The correct terminology would be they moved to have an action taken. And I pointed out because I got reamed in court once by a fierce judge for making exactly that mistake. So I took that to heart. And no offense, Anna.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
made that as a fully trained attorney in open court.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion to approve them as written. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, sir, are you sticking around for most of the meeting, or would you like to say what you?
Yeah, I can deliver whatever.
Yeah, right here, so right now it's fine.
One of the things that is encouraging is that it is gonna come up next meeting. We will have, right now we have people on vacation. Ryan Lowell has reached out to the board.
Yep.
Sent a letter. He's also been working with Jim Hayes to try and do a workaround so that we can fix some of the flood damage that took place, and some in 23 and most of it 24. In an effort to keep that open. That's kind of a vital link to our trail system, and it is a direct connector to Lane Quarry, which gets us to Concord Peak. So it's a pretty important route for us. So we have a member that is willing to donate equipment, time, and we'll come up with a little bit of material to resolve the failed culverts. But we want Jim Hayes' direction. So we're supposed to have a site visit and see if we can work something out, bring that back to the board so they can weigh in when they decide at the next meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, I had, talked with Ryan.
Yep.
And I explained to him that he should write a letter to the board and they should have some representation. Because of the simple fact that it has been, ongoing discussion, recently. And so they should weigh in and put their 2 cents in on it because it might help, you guys, determine what you're gonna do with that.
okay,
That's essentially why I'm here, because they're all out on vacation.
okay.
And it's our understanding that the culverts were actually removed years ago and that it's not that they're plugged or damaged, correct, Jim? They actually were removed in
I
that
have no
area?
idea, that was
Okay.
before my,
That's,
Someone said that at our last meeting about
and that's why we want to
Lyle
do,
removing them.
precisely why we want to do a site visit, so the information is accurate and we know exactly what we're up against. So, you know, we're looking at trying to replace the culverts on our dime to make sure that that's the viable thing. We understand, you know, we've had some, unacceptable behavior, on both ends. And I don't know whose idea it was the other day to park an empty state police cruiser by the Northeast Speedway sign, but boy, I'm telling you, there were some really well-behaved people driving by that. So, maybe we just have to get a cardboard cop car. But anyway, we do want to help,
Purchase one of the ones they're retiring and park it out there.
but we want to help out. And so we want to do this site visit with Jim and Ryan when he gets back. He's actually here, he's preparing to leave. And then we'll be better informed to help out with the situation.
Okay,
And so that is one of the agenda items that will come up.
yeah, on the August
11th?
11th meeting, yeah.
Okay. That was the one we thought it might, but I wasn't sure of anything, because there was an action discussion item in the minutes from, that you just approved.
Yeah.
We're gonna make sure that, we kind of helped out, weighed in on that.
Very good. And so you're gonna get together with Jim,
At his convenience, and we will go down and see what we can do.
I wouldn't mind if you let me know when you're doing it.
Sure.
If I was available, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Cause I've been gonna take a hike in there to see this portion that's washed out, to be better informed, so.
The two sides suffer from, sometimes beaver activity on the far end by the Route 18 side. And it'll get pretty wet for a fairly significant stretch. In the wintertime, it's fine because the ice is on, we can use it, but the springtime, it's pretty messy.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'm gonna send Ryan an email, or a text rather, and tell him what time we're gonna meet, when we're gonna meet. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, I apologize.
Ron Gray.
Ron Gray, okay. And make sure that you're, included. We'll try and make, arrangements to be convenient for you.
We'll want it.
Everybody can, if they want.
Yeah, anybody's, yeah. Okay, and what was your name, sir?
Mike O'Hara.
Okay, thank you.
I'm the first guy on the list.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, next up is cemetery deed.
Yes. So, one of these deeds you signed last week, the gentleman has come back and said he'd like to expand his lot from a 3x10 to a 9x10, so basically we're just expanding it. The second one you signed also last time, I noticed a, mistype on it.
Okay. So, we need a motion to approve them? Is that what we did?
Approve the change.
The change one,
deeds.
yes,
Yep.
yep.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay,
And what's the nature of the changes?
One, I did a spelling typo,
Okay,
so I noticed that after the fact. The second one was, he went from a 3x10 to a 9x10 lot.
and that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
okay. Any discussion?
On one of these, it says the new one we're signing says the 14th day of July. I'm going to change that to 28th.
No, because that was probably the typo one.
Okay, that was the type
Yeah.
of one. Okay, because the other one says 28th.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
You had approved it on the 14th and it was just my
okay,
fat fingers
all good.
messed up a name.
Okay,
No question.
All right, all those in favor of approving selling these lots, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, so you just need us all to sign them and we'll have them back.
Then I can record them.
Then for my own edification, if a request is made in their space and they've gone through all the formalities, made the payments, there's no reason not to approve, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's really just a formality to have the board do it.
Right, and then it goes into the land records. But as selectman, you are selling land to someone.
And that is town land.
Do we only sign the top one? Yes, just the top one.
The bottom one should be already signed.
Okay. Next up is, I think we have 2 festival permits.
We have 2 weddings taking place in Waterford Springs, one on September 6th, one on September 13th, both of which will have over 100 people. So I believe I sent you all the information in your folder.
Thanks so much. Yep, I remember reading them.
I'll make a motion to approve both festival permits as seen here.
I will second that.
Okay,
I have 2 points to raise here. One is that I live within the Waterford Springs area corporation lands, and second, I know both the people on friendly social terms, not intimately, but I want to disclose that in case there's a conflict of interest notice or some objection raised. I personally don't feel like it's a conflict. This feels like an administrative matter mostly. Deb, am I correct?
Yeah, and then if you want to recuse yourself, then that's fine too.
And don't we have a tradition where we actually waive the fee when it's a wedding? Don't we have some type of a,
The only time I'm aware of that is we waived it for the library. When the library does their block
Okay.
party, I'm not aware of waiving
I
anything
thought I
else.
remembered being on the board when we approved a wedding and then we somehow gifted the fee to them as a wedding present or something? I don't know.
seems like I saw that it's so much up to 100 people.
Right,
And there was one that said like 85 to 125.
right.
So does the fee come in when they put in the request? or-
Yeah, I've already received payment for both.
Oh,
of them.
okay.
Yep, yeah, I think one,
This has the 85 to 125 on it.
yeah, I think, it's $25 per 100 people, so the person that had that range paid 50. She didn't,
Yeah.
she didn't swap, she just.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. All right, any further discussion?
I do have one other question. The Waterford Springs is private property technically. Still require a permit for this kind of an event? Okay, and that's based on the size of the attendance?
Yes,
What is the minimum attendance that to
we
require?
require it if you have over 100 guests.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor of approving these 2 festival permits, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Next up. Oops, yeah, this we could. Maybe you ought to get a sign done first.
Okay, yours is on the back of that one.
Okay. So setting tax rate,
If the board is okay, switch up the agenda and let Deb do her fuel bids, because she has some.
oh, okay, yep, it's fine with me.
So last time we met, we didn't have 3 bids, so I reached out to those companies again. Fred's and Irving both submitted a bid today. Dead River has chosen not to resubmit a bid. And I didn't contact Bourne's because Bourne's is owned by Dead River. And the other one, which is KJN, I think it is, didn't put in a bid.
So you said that Dead River did put one in
They
before, but
put one
didn't?
in, they put one in for the last meeting, and when I went back to them and said, we didn't have 3 bids, would you like to resubmit a bid? And they declined.
Okay. Okay,
Did they mean that they wanted us to count the bid that they had already submitted?
Nope, they didn't wanna do it again.
okay, Irving, their price is fixed price for heating oil of 2.706 per gallon. The variable price on July 28th is 2.6817 per gallon. And Fred's Energy, fixed price of 2.799 per gallon. Is there not a variable rate one on this one? I don't see it, do you?
Just put one price.
Yep.
And that's to purchase 3,500 gallons.
Yes. Do you know off the top of your head, Heather, what the
It was in the
budget?
3s last year.
We had budgeted, I believe it was 4,500 gallons or 4,000.
Oh, okay, so-
4,000 gallons, so we did drop it because we haven't used.
But
that
even the
much.
price per gallon was higher last year. Wasn't it in the 3s?
Well, I don't honestly remember. I can go downstairs and grab the file.
Oh,
But I don't-
No,
No,
that's okay.
I was just curious at what we budgeted for.
I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the Irving Oil bid at a fixed price of 2.706.
I will second that.
Any discussion?
Yeah,
You wanna fix the price or risk the variable? Yeah, I know you can't budget as well with the variable, but
I say we fix it. I mean, even if we,
I think
if we
it's a
take a
great
gamble
price.
with the variable, the 2,706, we're saving $325 over 3,500 gallons versus the Fred's price. So I say we just stay with the fixed.
Sue, you and I both looked at the projected fuel costs out 3 to 6 months, and they were lower.
Right, but you can't count on that, and the prices are always higher in the winter too. They don't, for whatever reason, they go up in the winter, not down.
Yeah, demand goes up.
But I know I'm pretty sure we paid more than this last year per gallon.
No, I feel good about it. I'm just wondering if we wanna roll the dice a little bit,
No,
potentially get a lower
we
rate.
do not roll the
I
dice.
see
We
no
don't
reason
roll
to.
dice.
We
Okay.
do not roll
I see
dice.
no reason to. So that number's gonna go up anyway, because they have to change the formulation usually for winter burning versus summer oils.
And the
Plus.
other thing is that Irving is a Canadian-owned company, and who knows what's gonna happen with Canadian tariffs and whether or not they will apply to energy. It's out of our hands.
Yeah, that's a point.
okay. So any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of accepting Irving's fixed price of $2.706 per gallon, say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Ron, if I can ask you to sign, I believe it's page 2.
Sure.
And I will contact them tomorrow and say, is there something over here that says
Oh, yeah.
signature? I will contact them tomorrow.
Thanks. Okay. All right, now setting the tax rate.
Sure. So for the board's benefit, I'll just give you a little bit of the process. So the listers finalize the grand list. So we do know, based on the reappraisal, that the grand list number went up. That's transferred into our tax administration system within NIMRIT, and they spit out the numbers for the tax rate. I have a spreadsheet that was created a couple of years ago, so I plug the numbers in so I can cross-check with what NIMRIT has. So we make sure that the numbers match before we come to the board and ask for a tax rate approval. So what we're asking you to approve is the municipal rate. So this year's municipal rate is 0.3801. So that is down from last year, which was 0.5551. The local agreement is the additional money that we need to raise to offset the veterans exemptions that we have in our town. So that local rate is always 0.0010 to get that additional money that we need to raise from taxes. So when you plug the budget in of what was approved by the taxpayers in March, you get a homestead rate of 1.1812 and a non-homestead rate of 1.1359.
Can you tell me the first one again? I'm sorry, I didn't write them all down. 1.1.
1.1812, yes.
And the second one was what?
1.1359, so that's non-homestead. So we did get the education rate from the state, which you don't have any control over, which is 1.77. So that is an increase from last year. It was 1.61.
It's an increase even though our grand list is so much bigger.
Yes, the state doesn't factor in the.
Oh, they suck.
No, so that is the education rate that's put together by the state. So what I need is to approve the municipal rate of 0.3801. And then that rate will be posted and we will run tax bills to mail them out.
Heather, that last number again?
0.3801.
380, okay, yes.
And that is the minimum tax rate that we need to raise the 1.1 million to cover the budget that was approved.
Okay, so you said you need us to approve the municipal rate of 0.3801, correct?
I would make a motion that we set the municipal tax rate at 0.3801 as directed by our treasurer.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Just ask the question, Heather. I presume if that's the number you come up with, that's the number we should approve, but is there any reason why we would want to consider something different or higher?
So the board has the ability to increase that municipal rate should they want to. Yes, so the number I'm giving you is the minimum number that we need to raise the dollar amount that we need to cover taxes.
Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to pay extra taxes, but is there a good sound reason why it ought to at least be discussed for any forward-looking reasons?
The board has the ability to discuss that, of course, and so if you're gonna increase the municipal tax rate, you're gonna increase what is owed by the community, and there'll be a surplus.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the board's decision.
I understand it's the political third rail to even bring it up, but I'm just wondering if there's a smart reason to do so, and I don't know what it is sitting here right now, because I'm still pretty new.
So in the last several years that I've been doing this, I haven't seen the board take that up.
I would think the only reason we'd want to do that is if we knew we were gonna purchase.
Like the town garage, maybe. I mean, that would be the only thing I see on the horizon, that we have no idea if we can afford it or not.
Yep.
But that's a pretty big jump to ask for more money than what's been approved at town meeting. I'm really not up for that.
I forgot where we were at. We have a motion to approve it and second it.
Yeah.
Right? Any further discussion on that? If not, all those in favor of approving a municipal rate of 0.3801, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
And the meeting minutes, Hannah will reflect the other two, the homestead and the non-homestead rates. Yep. Thank you.
And the education tax again, Heather's 1.77, up from what was it?
1.61.
Yeah.
And so much, 1.7 times average higher values on our housing. So basically, it's almost twice, it's almost double tax,
It raises it quite a bit.
a lot, because it's already 3/4 of our tax bill. Wow.
We've played with a few tax bills of our own.
Yeah,
To
it's
see,
not fun, right?
so to see what the increase is, and it's about a $600.
Oh, is that it?
Mm-hmm. So the municipal tax rate was decreased though, from 0.555 to 0.38.
Right, but our values went up 1.7 times.
Right, but
The average municipal one only went up like $100 or something like that. The ones they played with, but it's,
Right.
so the grand list increase was about $1 million, so it offsets.
Right. That's what I've been trying to tell everyone, to not be worried about it, because all of our properties went up and there was an average, I think I saw the 60%. I've heard somebody say 1.7 times, which maybe that's around 60%. But at any rate, then we knew the rate would go down, the municipal rate would go down, but we're really only a quarter of the tax, the property tax. It's the education that's the
We don't have any control over the education rate.
Right. I expected them to go down as well, but I guess that was just silly.
It's gotta be health expenses for the most part.
But it's not just a 0.16 raise when we just almost doubled our property values. It's
Oh,
basically,
yeah, no, it's leverage. Heather, what does that mean in dollar terms again? 1.77 education tax rate?
What do you mean?
Somebody's paying
So
taxes on a $300,000 property,
So per thousand,
1.77.
it's figured on a per thousand.
2,000, so you're talking almost $5,000. Just education tax.
Yep. We're not a sending town under act. The education,
We are ascending town after 8th grade. Yes. So high school, we're ascending town.
no, I meant, dollar wise. There's the schools that have a rich, taxing base and schools that have a less favorable taxing
We
base.
have a rich tax.
We do, yes.
Because we spend more than what the state allows. per
That's what I'm
pupil.
asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
For the record, it's why we moved to Waterford though, because the school performance was so much better than any of the other sending towns. So that is what it was for us.
Okay. Anything else on that? All right. Next up is purchasing policy.
could I make a motion to table for our next regular meeting in August, based on the fact that we got it at 3, I didn't get to look at it till 4. And I have lots of comments for you, and we could probably discuss it for an hour this evening, and I really don't feel that we should take that time.
No, I'm in no hurry to
But
get
I
it.
would love to type it, I'd love to type my comments up for you and share them with you so that you can see what I'm thinking.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to rush it through.
And I
knew we
also
were
don't see a reason to kick it further than the August regular meeting. I just think we needed more than the hour or two that we had this evening.
And I'm sorry about the late
That's
notice.
okay.
That's a little bit my
That's
fault.
okay.
I didn't expect we were gonna be acting on it tonight anyway,
But I
so.
think there are a number of comments that I have that you could at least see what I'm thinking about it.
Sounds great.
Okay, so
I made a motion to table the purchasing policy discussion and action until our next August meeting on the 11th.
I don't know if that needs an action.
Well, at some point we want to approve it, right?
Well, we didn't put a motion to approve on the table yet.
Tonight was just discussion.
Yeah.
Let's do discussion / action for.
well, it was discussion, action.
Yeah, let's move that to August 11th.
Yeah, so if anyone else has comments, send them to Tim and so we can be prepared in August.
Okay, fine.
Yep. And something else?
Well, I was gonna say that, I put them both before Heather,
Yeah.
for her input, and she agreed that the VLCT template was the better, product to go with, but we might still wanna modify that to our needs.
I didn't have time to look at the Danville one. I only looked at the first one.
Yeah, and that's.
You had already typed in town of Waterford, so I went with it.
But I think
No, that's
that was
Danville.
Danville.
That was the Danville one.
Oh, that was the Danville one?
Yeah. They didn't do a bad job, but they
Well,
didn't.
let me look at the VLCT one then, because I didn't realize that I had opened the wrong one. I opened the first one.
Yeah.
And that was Danville?
Well, I don't know which was first, but it was modified
This
to
one?
reflect
It
Waterford.
said town of Waterford.
Yeah, that came from Danville.
Okay, this was the Danville one. Okay. I really don't want that. Let me read the other one. That might make a really big difference.
Might not.
Okay.
I didn't read the other one, but I think Will said something about one particular section
I will make a concerted effort to read that one very soon in the next couple of days and send you some notes.
Okay. So next up is personnel policy. I didn't take very good notes last meeting, I guess, because or maybe I did, but the only changes I made to it were, I changed it, section 2.2 to say, transfer station will operate from 8 AM to 12 PM on Saturdays. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct?
Year round.
Year round. I even thought, well, we've changed it a few times. Do we even need to have that in there? But for right, I just changed it to agree with what we currently have. And the other thing that I changed was under section 4.4. I had failed to change the vacation leave accrual rate. I didn't put by
Weekly.
in front of weekly, I had just weekly. So I added the by there. Those were the,
And you changed all the numbers to correspond, because they would get twice as much leave.
I had the old one.
So if they're getting like 1 hour weekly, they get 2 hours bi-weekly.
Yeah,
If they're getting 4 hours, you got it, right?
I
You
think
have
I
to
did.
change the whole thing.
I 3, 5. Yeah, I did. Changed all of those.
Okay.
So those are the only 2 changes I made. Is there anything else?
Was there also the question of, I think it was 6.2, the
Yeah.
use of the truck?
I did not change that. If you want that changed, then I guess we'll have to. I don't agree with that, but I'm not sure that I'm in the majority on that.
But we had discovered that the select board allow Jim to take the truck home.
Yes. Oh, I knew this,
As
select
of
board did
August
that.
12th of last year.
Yes, I
Yes.
know that, but,
So then that should be changed because that says that you can't do it.
well, that is unless we want to rescind that permission. I think we should, but like I said, I'm probably in the minority.
Marcel raised a point that, the insurance company might interpret the use of the truck to and from home as non-work use, in which case insurance would not apply. And if there's an accident in that situation, insurance will not cover the liability. And then I presume that liability falls directly to the town, and I don't know what happens at that point.
What do other municipalities do? That would be a good question. 'Cause every town that I know of, they take the truck home. So I don't know how they do it.
So I've checked with a few, the insurance policy I don't know about, but a few of the towns, it's during the winter time, Jim, major events, which we can't foresee. There was one other reason. Those that lived in town, I think that was the town of Norwich, if they live in the town, but now they've got a guy that lives in Barnet driving it home, so I don't know. I guess we should check with insurance if that's the case.
Since we don't roll the dice.
In the meeting minutes, didn't we find the phrase as necessary? And wouldn't that be up to Jim as the road crew foreman? Didn't we find was it the August 24th meeting minutes?
It's 12.
August 12th, let me pull that up.
I think
real
it
quick.
said as necessary, and I would think that the as necessary would be determined by Jim.
August 12th, what?
24.
24.
Let's see, these are agendas.
Well, I would propose that it's a bit of a moot point what it says on the August policy, because we have the chance to make
it's
the
not-
correct decision
It's not
right
moot
now.
because it is the current rule, because the select board approved it, so it's current.
But you
So if we
never
need to
changed,
change
We didn't
it,
change.
you never
policy.
changed
Change it.
policy. So you
Right.
still have the same policy.
but the select board did
As needed for town purposes.
as needed for town purposes.
That was the word.
But Jim, you take it home nightly unless you're on vacation, correct?
I tend to take it home more times than not. But the way that the weather has been, I don't know if I'm gonna be here to know. And I was wrong on my figure, it's only 3.8 miles.
3.8 miles from your
My
house,
house to Waterford.
to the Waterford line?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I believe you mean to the town garage, correct?
Oh, down garage is quite a little bit further.
3.84 miles from your house in Concord to the,
Town line.
oh, if you're going around, okay.
On
I
Crossroad,
was on the crossroad. So to the town line, it's 3.8 miles.
Okay, I think,
If I have to drive to the town garage, it's quite a little bit further.
I have a question for Marcia.
okay,
Doesn't personal mileage have to be claimed and recorded on your W-4?
Yeah.
So is that being done at this point?
Nope.
So if that's the case, and he's gonna take it every day, the select board needs to come up with a minimum amount that is used for personal use so that it can be reported as income on his W-4. In any place that supplies vehicle does that. It's an IRS regulation.
it's for commuting purposes.
Yep.
What the select board intended to do in the August 12th meeting was to allow Jim to take the vehicle home as needed for work use, not commuting. Which would not be a problem with the IRS.
So I guess I don't understand that because I believe that's still commuting from the town garage, the town line, whatever you choose.
Not if he's driving it to a work site first before he goes
There
to
are
the town.
regulations.
I did, because I had a company car and I had to follow the regulations. I had to drive it only to the work sites that I needed to drive it to. I couldn't commute back and forth to work.
So you didn't take the vehicle home, go straight to your work?
I kept the vehicle at all times. I had a personal vehicle for personal use and I had a work vehicle for work use. And I drove the work vehicle to work sites and to the office if I stopped at a work site on the way to the office.
Okay.
Marcel, I think there's also a provision, correct, for emergency personnel, which he would fall under emergency personnel.
Yep, because he may have to report in the middle of the, 2:00 in the morning.
I just think it's kind of I don't think it looks good to taxpayers, when they, but
How though, it's town business?
it's not really town business. If Jim takes it home most of the time, does most of the time you just drive to the garage on your way in?
Sometimes I drive up County North, I'll drive up by Wade's place. We've had heavy rain, I'll go out and check the roads and when you see if we've got scouring. I do that before I go to the shop. In the wintertime, I always am checking the crossroad, I check County North, I go up by Wade's, those are all cold spots. That gives me a real good idea of what I'm running into, to whether I call the guys in or not. If I have to go to the shop and switch vehicles and then come back from the same area that I've already just been, it adds on another half an hour, 45 minutes, and then I've gotta call those guys, and it takes them almost an hour to get in there. So when I've gotta have stuff done before the school buses run, I've gotta do it early. And half an hour, 45 minutes of my time setting me back, that makes a big difference.
Not sure how it would be a half an hour, 45 minutes if you just drove through.
It's 15 minutes to go from my house to the shop. And then to come back, it's another 10, 15 minutes. By the time I get the truck out, by the time I end up coming back, I've burned up over half an hour.
Do you mind if I just see one of those? I'm assuming that section of the policy is the same in both.
Jim, for the purposes of this
That's
discussion,
before.
what's the difference whether you're in your own car surveying the road conditions versus being in a town truck?
There's a big difference.
Using your own fuel.
That's on my knowing.
Miles on
I'm
it.
providing services for the town at my expense.
Do we have any mechanism to
Yeah,
compensate you for that?
yeah, you can pay
But
him
yeah,
mileage
mileage
for
for
time in
anyways.
his own personal
Yeah,
vehicle.
which doesn't really amount to a whole lot.
Well, the truck must be much more costly to run per mile than your personal vehicle.
No, I have the same motor in my pickup as I do in the long time.
But the federal or whatever compensation rate is what, 65 cents a mile?
I don't know whatever.
70 cents.
70 now? God.
And then on top of that,
I
I mean,
used
I'm
to get
putting miles
35
on
and
my
love
vehicle.
Well,
And I'm driving 3.8 miles to provide the same service for the town at the expense of the town versus my expense. So why should I perform a job for the town that costs me more money?
I'd ask the opposite question. Why should the town pay for your commuting expenses?
Because he's not commuting, you just
Because
said
at
he's.
2 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, when there's a tree down, I've gotta go take care of it.
but I would think for the majority of the time. That's true in some cases.
On the job, because he's 24-hour call. Why wouldn't it be considered a town time?
Well, let's just use tonight as an example. Why would you need to bring the truck home tonight?
Well, what happens if a tree falls down tonight? He's
So-
gonna come in, and he's gotta go all the way to the garage, get the loader or whatever, and the chainsaw, and go take care of it. He's got the chainsaw with him, he's all set, he's got the truck, he can do it.
So in that, using that logic, you would justify him taking it every day? Which I don't think is justified. And I think it looks better not to, I think it looks better to the taxpayers not to.
Maybe he should call the select board and have them go too at the same time he goes to the car, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Are we more concerned about appearances here, or are we concerned about the job getting done? Because if the job gets done faster, and if that tree's blocking the road for someone to get to work, you can't put a price on that or appearances. I had a tree fall across my driveway, or I should say my parents' driveway. I was house sitting for them on Friday, and I had to reverse up and go get the chainsaw. And if that happened further down Lawrence Road, and you know, the road foreman was up before me and saw it and got to it faster, I'd greatly appreciate that.
Somebody question?
Yes.
Yes, Christina Hayes. Just a couple examples. When he wasn't using the truck that one winter, because the previous road foreman always had a truck, it happened multiple times with the fire department and the state police. Called him in, whatever, 10, 11 o'clock at night. He took the truck to go to the town garage to get it. I would get another call asking, where is he? We called him in a half hour. Yeah, and I'm like, yes, he has to drive to the town to get the truck. He's on his way. This has happened multiple times before he actually had access to a vehicle where he could go directly to that situation. So it does save time in an emergency situation. And that's where I've explained, and they understand that, because they said, oh, okay, he's on his way. I'm like, yeah, but it takes longer. And that's multiple times. Fire departments have issues. If your house is on fire, you're not gonna wanna wait an extra half hour, 45 minutes. And that's just the other side that I think sometimes people don't understand is some things are of the essence of time.
Okay.
To Will's point, we answer to the taxpayers for the expenses that we incur on their dime. And I am aware of the arguments here, and I'm sympathetic to them, that it's time efficient for Jim to have the vehicle for town work, especially when there's an emergency. I'm just concerned about the non-emergency times going back and forth. I mean, I don't know that I see a reasonable way to reconcile that right now.
I think we can justify it by Jim being on call all the time. He doesn't, essentially he picks up the phone if somebody calls about a tree branch, he's on call.
So section 6.2 of the personnel policy reads as follows. No town employee or resident shall use town property and or equipment for personal use at any time. This includes the use of a town vehicle for commuting to and from work, even in the event that a work site will be visited before going to the town garage, period. I would like to make a motion to amend section 6.2, strike the period at the end of town garage, comma, with the exception of the road foreman.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, if not, those in favor of the revision to 6.2 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
No. Okay,
That was 3 and 2, right?
yes.
I have a question. I have a comment I'd like to make.
Sure.
If he's gonna drive it back and forth and it's gonna be for the town of Waterford, can we get a town of Waterford sign to go on the side of the truck? It has never been put on this truck.
Yeah, I was,
And I believe, you can correct me, Did the St. J auto number plate come off the front, or is the municipal plate on the front? Because last I knew, the St. J auto truck, or auto plate was still on the front of that truck, and that truck was purchased 3 years ago. And I think it's time it came off and the municipal plate goes on it. If we're gonna have a town truck, then it needs to represent the town.
Is there a reason there isn't a sticker on it?
I have no idea. I don't even know if there's two plates. I'll have to look and see.
Okay.
But there could be a magnetic town of Waterford sign put on the sides of it to represent the town
Yeah.
of Waterford. If it's a town vehicle.
That's a good idea, I think, anyways.
Absolutely.
And actually, my company vehicle, that was one of the IRS requirements, is that the car is identified as a company vehicle. So it makes sense to have our Waterford signage on it.
That's right.
Would a magnetic decal make more sense, or would some sort of detailing be more?
Mine was a sticker. Mine was
Magnetic ones, they'll get dirty behind them, and then they lose their magnetism, and
They fall off.
I've dealt with that before.
Yeah,
You're better off just sticking them on there and being done.
Is that how the other town trucks are? Stuck? Yeah,
we found a company in Maryland, I'm sure there's a local something that prints
Yeah,
signs.
Littleton signs over there, maybe.
well,
The one up in St. Louis.
Joe Bootsy's daughter, up towards Lindenville, she does it.
okay. Yeah, if you could do that, that would be good.
Thank you.
So how about the rest, the other revisions to the personnel policy? Are we in agreement on those?
Were there any other that we discussed?
It was just a couple of spelling changes, I believe.
Uniforms.
Oh,
We need to assign someone to, like this, a town of Waterford, screen printing on some orange t-shirts for the road crew members, because we've promised in the policy to provide t-shirts, and then they still have a clothing allowance to buy the work boots and the pants. But in order to make it a uniform, we needed some type of a logo representing the town on a t-shirt, and we put that off for, what, 3 years now, Jim?
3
We've been
years.
waiting on t-shirts.
Yeah.
So who's gonna buy them, and
I have, as part of my employment,
you probably know screen printers.
I do. I don't know if that would create a conflict of interest for the town, but it shouldn't cost, I mean, if we're doing, what, how many t-shirts are we doing? 15? That's not gonna cost you more than what'll trigger our current purchasing policy, so
Okay,
I can handle that.
okay.
My son, he works for Green Mountain Power, and they have clothing stuff, and I was gonna talk to him about finding out who does their stuff. Maybe we could.
Okay.
There's a guy
Something
in
like that.
Lindenville that prints them as well.
Mhm.
He used to do the academies all the time. If you're gonna get them, you want them for the transfer station.
Yes, it's required for the transfer station guys too. Clem, you guys are allowed to have the uniform as well.
I don't care, for it myself.
Okay, so the transfer station,
What you
And-
need is the sizes of the guys.
yes. So who all needs it though? Transfer station, town,
Yeah.
highway department?
So 3 and 3, six employees.
Okay,
And that solves the IRS situation of, they were counting their clothing allowance budget as a fringe benefit because they were purchasing clothing, but the answer really is they were purchasing a uniform, and it's not an IRS fringe benefit if it's a uniform.
Would I have to wear the uniform?
I'm sorry?
Would I have to wear the uniform? I'm
No.
personnel.
No, you don't have to wear it, you're not getting dirty in a loader or
That's true.
doing anything like that, right?
you can if you want, usually it's cheaper if you buy in bulk.
Yeah.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the personnel policy as revised, or do you need it all put together in one?
I wanted to take one more look at my notes, Ron, just to see if I had written anything else.
While Sue is doing that, Ron, did we want to look at when a probationary employee would be eligible for, and I forgot what it was, the pay increase or cost of living increases.
I don't know if we did address that.
I don't know that we got to that issue yet.
Right. There was nothing in there about withholding the cost of living increase from a probationary employee. So the fact that we did that, you either need to add it or we need to, in the future, when we have a probationary employee, we need to give them the cost of living.
I think it would be good to clarify it whichever way we go, so it's.
Right, because right now it doesn't have any guidance on a probationary employee getting or not getting the cost of living.
So, do we want to try to come up with something now, or do you want me
We're
to?
making all these revisions, we might as well get them right.
Well, it seems like the only reason
No, that's.
probationary employee designation exists in the personnel policy is so that you can basically, okay, if it's not working out within a
Yes.
certain window, we can can them on the spot.
It's to give Jim the freedom
Yeah.
to recognize this isn't gonna work and let him go with no strings attached.
So if that's all it's needed for, then I don't see what we need to change. They should be able, like, by that token, they're eligible for anything that other employees are.
I had always assumed.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but I would
You're wrong
assume
on
that.
that, because vacation, you've gotta, you still accrue it, but you can't use it until you've got your probationary period done.
Yeah.
Is that in the policy as
That's in the
well?
policy. So, and there was no guidance when that happened, and I asked the board, and the board didn't have any direction on it, so I still haven't, he got, after the board approved his full-time employment, then that's when he got his raise.
But it wasn't a raise, it was cost of living.
Well,
We use them interchangeably, but Marcel.
I
and Aaron
understand what you're saying.
That's not the full thing. I just-
Cost of living
Print out
is
stuff
to
that I-
cover the cost that we have inflation and costs creep up every year. So just to retain your old salary, you need the cost of living to equate to what your old salary was. So we're basically saying probationary employees need to lose money if they're hired close to the beginning of the following year.
Well, I don't know that they lose money. You've established their rate when you hired them. So if you hired them on the last day of the year, why would they get a cost of living allowance on the first day of the next year?
I see your argument, but the cost of living is really because of the increased cost of living that following year.
But nothing has,
Social Security, my birthday's in December, so, well, that's not a good example. If my birthday was in November and my first time of getting Social Security was in December, I'm still gonna get a cost of living in January.
Right.
It does not matter when I started.
But you're not on probation. That's the question.
Well, I'm also old.
You too.
no.
The big question is the probationary period.
So, well, what, obviously, Sue and I have made our opinions known, or not the rest of the board.
We're talking about the cost of living increases while on probation. I thought the issue we're running into right now is because the board did not address the coming off probation within 6 months, and therefore there was a delay instituting the cost of living
There was
increase.
a tiny delay, but I still think he should have been given a cost of living in January when it was established.
Okay, then what happened to the kid that just started? He started at a set rate, the same rate that everybody else starts at. Why didn't he get that rate plus, because that's not the way it was set up?
Correct.
That was
So-
what he was, that was the
So,
offer
I
rate.
mean, you can argue this 10 different ways.
I
The
see
board-
both,
The board
I
needs
see
to make a
both
decision.
sides. I see both sides. And right now, the personnel policy is not clear
That's
which way we wanna go.
Well, I agree that we need to make that clear. Marcel, any idea what other towns do regarding this?
Nope, I haven't looked into it.
I mean, section 2.3 here, compensation, starting compensation increases in compensation and annual performance bonuses shall be recommended by department heads and approved by the town select board. So
Yeah.
even though, if the timing there, even though the board approved a starting compensation, they then approved an increase in compensation, that COLA for all employees.
That
So
was prior to,
Not necessarily for all employees.
that's right, and prior to his hiring, that was the first of the year. The kid was hired after the first of the year, what do you do? If you approve to hire someone at $25 an hour for his probationary period, are you gonna give them cost of living too?
Well,
You
if
hired him for $25 an hour.
you, when did we hire that kid? Recently, like this year.
Yeah.
So the cost of living was already in effect. It kicked in
Yeah, but
on January first.
nobody bothered. They hired him at $25 an hour.
Right, that's
So-
his rate,
That's his rate.
right.
So he doesn't get that cost of living.
No, because he was here after January first, which is when the COLA kicked in.
How about my example from before? The one that's hired on December 31st, you give him 25 and then you up his rate to, what
But
is
if
it,
we-
25.60, wait, let me finish.
Okay.
And then you hire another person on January 1st.
Yeah,
So he's gonna stay at that lower rate for six months.
Yeah.
That's why I think it ought not to go into effect until the end of the probationary period.
but if we were smart, we would say, you're starting on December 31st, so we're gonna give you $24.73, knowing that you're getting a cost of living in January. Like, we have to be smart about it as well. You don't
Well,
hire someone,
That's an extreme example, but
yes.
somebody is hired the 1st of December or the 1st of February is maybe a better example. You know, you still,
But
I think it's a little extreme too, with us talking about hiring 2 people. You know, just saying.
The example is useful though.
not really. Yeah. So what does the board want to do? Do you want to, how do you want to clarify
The
it?
simple approach is that no cost of living increase is given during probationary period.
That's correct. That's the way it should be.
I'm not sure that's,
At the end of your.
Is that fair, or-
I disagree. I think a cost of living should apply to everyone, probationary or not, because, right, if the probationary employee doesn't end up staying, then they get fired anyway, but they still get the COLA. Like, the whole point of the COLA is to give it to everyone, not just everyone who's been here for a while and, oh, hey, yeah, you newbie, like, nah, you don't get it.
Well, then when you set your starting rate, you have to set your starting rate at whatever you're gonna start with. Your starting rate's gotta
reflect
reflect.
that
Yeah.
the COLA's
That it's
coming,
COLA.
Mhm.
and
When I
that's
get
on the
paperwork and
select
someone
board.
tells me $25 an hour, that's what I'm gonna pay.
Right,
And they're not gonna get the COLA
but
till,
if the select board was on their game and they
Yeah.
hired someone the middle of December, they would hire them at $24.50 if it was gonna go up to 25 with the cost of living in January. We
Yes.
gotta be smart, which I'm not saying that we have been in the past, but I want a cost of living to be recognized as a separate entity from a raise. A raise is a very different thing. It looks at your performance and it puts you in a different category and it carries through with you. Whereas a cost of living just takes what you're currently making and adjusts it because everything is more expensive.
Okay, so under that setup, we'd have to define cost of living. We would need a little bit more legwork in the policy to set that in stone.
Have a definition of what cost of living is versus a
Yes.
raise. It's
To differentiate the
supposed to be obvious, but I suppose we could
Did the cost of living,
flesh it out.
did the cost of living increase 2.5% from 1st of December to 1st of
No,
January?
but that's when we acknowledge it once a year and it's for
I know, but
budgeting purposes.
you're making the argument that it's
Budgeting purposes.
to reflect that his rate of pay in one year has gone down because of the inflation.
You
And
were a state employee, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you got your COLA every year that a COLA was given, and you got raises in the years that you deserved them. So.
I didn't get cost of living
Yes, you
allowances,
did.
they were negotiated. And they
Yes.
always took place on the first pay period in July.
Yes,
But yes.
because that was their fiscal year.
And you are correct.
My brother was a 35-year AOC, AOT employee, and he got his COLAs when they were given. And some years inflation isn't a thing, and you don't get a COLA.
Right.
And it's based on whether Social Security, who does the math, if they don't give a COLA, then most companies don't either, because they're like, hey, they've done the math and there's no need for a COLA this year. But most years, things go up.
How about this procedurally? This seems like another thing that's come up. Why don't we can approve the policy as we've, amended it tonight and set that in stone, and then next meeting, we revisit it and make revisions to the policy we approved? I don't see why we can't do that. That way we don't get hung up on this one.
Or take a
we've
break
already-
and not revisit it until September.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
again, this
We're getting
COLA thing
tired
is
of
not
It's
not
an
an
issue.
urgent issue.
It's not. We have
But-
until
Yeah, and
budgeting, actually the budget.
yeah, and according, I just had a thought, and I can't wait till September, because I won't remember it then, is the newest employee, under your argument, they would not get the cost of living allowance until January 1st, next year's cost of living. He wouldn't get it at the end of his 6 months.
Because he was hired after the January 1st date.
Okay.
He got what we thought he should get.
Yeah, he was hired in April.
Okay,
You were gonna give him in
Yeah.
October? You were gonna give him a cost of living?
that's what we did with,
Yeah, but he was hired the previous year. Cost of living is like a year of concept.
I know.
I'll make a motion to approve the personnel policy as amended tonight.
Okay, does that have a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion?
I'm not in favor of passing a incomplete personnel policy. I think we should keep our nose to the grindstone and get this right.
Okay. Any other? Okay, I think we have a motion on the table. We do. So all those in favor of approving the personnel policy, including tonight's revision, or however you worded it, will, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Town garage update. Suki set up a meeting between Jim and David Knight. And I also attended where Jim stated some things that he would like to see done with the electrical system in the garage while we're doing the renovation. David, I didn't catch the whole conversation, but David, the discussions that took place, and to bring it up to code, David was going to draw up, what changes needed to be made, and was gonna get it to Suki. He got it to her this afternoon. So
So August.
hopefully in August we'll have the RFP. The other biggest question is whether we can get a waiver on it, is whether we are required to bring it, to make the garage ADA compliant. It's gonna be very difficult to do, correct, Jim?
Yeah.
Because of where the bathrooms are located. One of them the one that we thought we had a chance to make it ADA compliant, it doesn't really work because it would infringe on the garage door, correct?
Right. But then there was also the discussion about whether there's an exemption.
Right.
Because there's got to be some type of exemption somewhere. Because that garage, everything about that garage and the contents of it is not handicap friendly. I mean, and we had the discussion about whether we would have to make it or not, or what. I mean, they were gonna look into that, I thought Suki was.
Okay, I'll check back with Suki to see if she's,
Because Tom was talking about this exemption and that, they were carrying on about that. So.
Yeah,
That
okay.
was the big topic, because we
Yep.
were gonna have a hard time making it handicapped accessible.
I would think that would be an engineering discussion. The engineers that you hired should tell you whether we can get away with ADA or not being ADA.
yeah, we could ask them that question. There was a woman from VLCT that I had a meeting with about possible funding sources and she got talking about the ADA compliance, and she thought it had to be made ADA compliant in, I forgot how she put it, and I probably have her email somewhere, but had something to do about if you were not building a new building, if you were renovating building and you, in the section that you were renovating, you would have to be ADA compliant, which if you're replacing the whole roof, is that everything under the roof?
Oh, that's just the roof.
Yeah, I was sort of
The
asking
wall
that
and
as
the
well.
roof, that's not the bathroom, right?
But
Yeah.
if you're gonna change the bathroom, then
But is the town garage a public building in the first case?
number one, you have employees. If you were to hire an employee who has a special need or whatever, they could go and say, it's not ADA compliant.
Well, no offense intended here in any case, but we couldn't possibly hire a disabled employee in the road crew, could we?
Well, you might.
Could,
Practically, I don't see how that happens, and I'm still curious whether the building itself is a public building.
So,
That's the engineer's probably discovery, I would say.
yeah, okay, so I'll get back in touch with Suki and, you know, and see if she has researched that any further.
Well, I'm doing a quick search on AI right now. It's unclear. I mean, the Vermont ADA requirements are very strict compared to other states.
Yep.
But I question whether it's a public building in the first place. And like I said, I don't see how we could hire a disabled person to work in the road crew.
that's what we had that was part of the discussion, was would we still have to be compliant, seeing as how the job requirements would be more than what a handicapped person.
How could we accommodate somebody with those kinds of needs?
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. So I'll talk with Suki. And yeah, you reminded me, Jim, I was also gonna talk with, you'd mentioned state garages, you know, what they did with,
Yeah, what they do.
Right.
Are they ADA compliant or not, or what, I don't know.
You don't happen to know?
No, I mean, as far as like the state garage,
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
no, we just brought it up, we were having a discussion about it that day. Because I know that they have stairways going up to a lunchroom up above. So that's why I brought it up, I said, well, what does the state do? I don't see how they could be compliant. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, I don't know. Or maybe there's some type of technicality that they can get away with and not being compliant that we could use, I don't know.
Yeah.
And Ron was gonna talk.
yeah, I was gonna talk with Logan. I talked with him about several things, and I can I don't need to tell you that now, but, to do with Mad Brook Road and, a couple other things, but I forgot to ask him about that. Okay, so agenda items for the next meeting.
Purchasing policy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Actually, is 2 weeks enough time, do you think,
On
to
Slate Ridge Road.
Yes.
Yeah,
work through that?
I'm gonna send you my comments in the next couple of days.
Okay.
purchasing policy, Slate Ledge Road.
You might want to discuss Mad Brook Bridge, that's gonna be coming up and how we're gonna finance that.
Yeah, it is gonna be coming up. It's, I did check with Nate Seacard to see if he'd heard from the contractor, and, I think they were going to start the project originally in August. But there was quite a backlog at the precaster, so it's, the precast units probably aren't going to be ready until September, and so it's going to be starting a little bit later.
We have a deadline for that, and if we
October
don't get it
31st.
done, then we're gonna have to file for an extension for FEMA.
I think they're still pretty confident they'll be able to do it this year. It's just at that point, and that was probably a couple of weeks ago that I talked with him. It was,
I doubt we'll have any FEMA money by then right now, the way it's looking, so.
And we've used most of our $1 million.
I still have 200,000 still sitting there,
and
way around, so.
I think the bid price on it was like $230
Yeah,
something.
it was like 230.
We're gonna have to probably take some money out of town park purchasing.
Until we hopefully get reimbursed by
Yep.
FEMA. Okay,
That's a discussion between the board and the treasurer, so.
okay. What else is there for?
Actually, didn't we do the agenda for August? No, I guess we knew we were having the July 28th meeting.
I'm sure there'll be something else come up.
I'm sure.
You can start out with that. So, I guess for now, just purchasing policy, Slate Ridge Road and Mad Brook funding.
Huh?
Waiting for the form.
Okay,
Well, we got charged this holiday.
No, I saw it.
That's just the way, they didn't come off their holiday, came off their leave. I'll go back and look at it. I'll show you guys.
okay.
I checked it out, and it definitely said vacation on the recruit numbers. Instead of holiday pay, so it came out of their leave instead of being a holiday.
Okay.
Just something I noticed, and that's my fault, because I approved that payroll, and I go in and I look at each timesheet and count up the hours, but I didn't see that category not being holiday.
Okay. Need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of going into executive session for personnel, say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
And we're at the personnel.
We entered executive session at 7:18 PM.